Welcome back to Wycombe. We have got live action from the Women's Continental Cup final. It's Arsenal ladies taking on Man City women. Time to hand you over to Steve Bauer and Lucy Ward.
Thanks, Helen. Very good evening. One more match to go of the domestic women's season, and what a mouth-watering one in prospect. The team that have won everything in front of them in their rich history in the women's game, Arsenal, against the one at the end of their first season of their formation, Manchester City. And so often Arsenal and silverware have gone together. They already have one cup and trophy in the cabinet with that FA Cup final victory against Everton. For the second season running, Arsenal are looking to make it a domestic double in terms of the cup competitions. With Manchester City, who've had ups and downs in their first year of competitive action, are looking to end it on a remarkable high by marking their first year by taking that trophy home tonight. Steph Houghton, of course, 12 months ago lifted that trophy for Arsenal. Tonight she leads Manchester City. We will pause now for the national anthem to be sung by Emily Haig. Prior to that, we will have the two special guests introduced to the team as well. Mr. Michael Game, who is the chairman of the FA WSL, and David Smith, the managing director of Continental Tires. And tonight's referee as well, Nigel Lugg. And remember, we must have a winner tonight. If it is all square after 90 minutes, then there will be a period of extra time, and the possibility of penalties looms as well. Chance for all generations to have a look at the progress of the women's game tonight in a knockout cup final scenario. All those players can see that trophy. Only one team will take it home. Will it be Arsenal for the fourth year in a row? So as promised, the national anthem sung by Emily Haig. Words of encouragement there from the two captains. Steph Houghton meeting many familiar faces in the Arsenal team. And this is the team that Manchester City will try and upset tonight. Arsenal in their fourth game under Pedro Martinez Losa, their new Spanish coach. He includes both their Japanese internationals, Kinga and Ono. Emma Byrne, who has won all three of the previous Continental Cups, returns in goal. She's one of 6 in that team who started and won last year's final 12 months ago. The assistant manager, Kelly Smith, begins on the bench. Well, Manchester City recall captain Steph Houghton, who lifted this trophy for Arsenal 12 months ago, and goalkeeper Karen Bardsley. Abby McManus, who was sent off on the final day against Chelsea, misses out through suspension. Top scorer Tony Duggan scored the goal that got Manchester City to this final in the semi-final. She also scored the winner at Arsenal in the victory in the WSL.
See, Arsenal have a very attack-minded and open system. They don't tend to worry about the opposition. They play a very expansive game. They've got high genuine width in Yankee. and they have Nobbs who plays a little bit further forward behind the front player. And make the system work, they need the ball, so possession is vital for them. Whereas Man City, they have a system that has balance to the team. They rely on the counter-attack, and the two sitting midfielders work very well for them, and they rely on the goal-scoring exploits of Tony Duggan.
Well, we spoke to her before kick-off. Steph Horton was a winner in all competitions with Arsenal. She left at the end of last season. Her last act was to lift the Continental Cup in red and white. Tonight she's dreaming of becoming the first Manchester City women's captain to lift a major trophy. Winning is something that Rachel Yankee, still at 34, is keen to do. She's won everything in front of her, and she lined up with Steph Horton in last year's final. She's one of 6 survivors who starts tonight, including the Arsenal captain, Alex Scott. Both meeting Nigel Lugg, our match referee tonight. Perfect pitch for these ladies to perform on. Manchester City have come a long way since March, when all those new names were thrown together in their first ever season, and they're taking on the most successful club in the women's game, trying to deny Arsenal a 42nd major honour this evening and a 4th Continental Cup success in a row. Since the League Cup became the Continental Cup, there has only been Arsenal engraved on that trophy. Can Manchester City, in their debut season, change all that tonight? It's intriguing, it's fascinating, and it's ready to begin. The last action of this most dramatic women's domestic season we've ever witnessed. If we get half the drama we saw on the final day of the league season in the Continental Cup final, we will be richly entertained. And it will be the holders Arsenal, the FA Cup winners Arsenal, to get us underway, to try and repeat a familiar pattern of ending the season with the Continental Cup. They start as favourites. How can Manchester City beat them tonight, Lucy?
Well, Man City will get a lot of confidence from their performance against Chelsea at the weekend, that they can beat the top teams. And this is a one-off game. They'll be a little bit more compact, I would suspect, than Arsenal. But, Arsenal are there to be got at now. Before, you went into a game and you just tried not to get beat by 2, 3 or 4 goals. Now, teams get at them from the off, and I think that's what Man City have got to do, but also keep it a little bit tighter at the back than they would have done against other teams.
Emma Byrne, in her 14th season with Arsenal, back in goal tonight. Here's Casey Stoney, who returned to the club, of course. She's looking to mark it with 2 trophies. That's a long ball looking for Nobbs. So good tracking back there by Lippmann for Manchester City.
I think that's something you will see. Jordan Nobbs, as a midfielder, will go above and beyond the strikers. She has the pace. See, Lippmann has got to contend with that throughout tonight. A little bit of pace in the forwards, and Jordan Nobbs just behind in attacking midfield.
'17-year-old Georgia Broham in the left-back position for Manchester City, helped on by Christensen, won by Kinga, one of the 2 Japanese internationals in the Arsenal starting 11. And Hikari Kinga has happy memories of her first English Cup final. She scored the second goal in Arsenal's 2-0 FA Cup final victory over Everton. Now, here's Yankee, latching onto that slight error from Horton. And it wasn't a costly one.
We see just how high Arsenal start. Well, Steph Horton just had a dodgy first touch, and actually Yankee was straight on the scene. And they just defend really high, or they attack. They come from really good positions, Arsenal, quite high up the pitch.
It's a foul by Kinga, the 30-year-old, the one I was mentioning, who scored in the FA Cup final.
I think it was a bit of a speculative ball into the middle anyway. I think Man City did well to get Christensen get a body in the way, so she got that free kick.
Lippman, 25-year-old central defender, under good pressure from Carter. Here's Carter once more. Nobbs has gone on ahead of her. Only one thing in Jordan Nobbs' mind. Just couldn't quite find the target. Jordan Nobbs.
2 or 3 times now, Steve, that Arsenal have picked the pocket of Man City far up the pitch. I think the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes, Man City just need to get the ball, turn Arsenal defenders around and have the play in front of them, because at the moment they're losing the ball in really dangerous places.
This is Mitchell. Yankee. And cleared by Horton. And that was an early warning for Manchester City.
It is. They've really started a high tempo, Arsenal, and Man City really need to get up to that tempo. And you see again Jordan Nobbs, that run from midfield, she's got the pace. She is capable of scoring from there, and Karen Barzi was suitably worried about it. It was always going wide from a position that I could see it at, but it just shows what they've got, Arsenal, and Man City really need to raise the tempo these first few minutes.
Let me bring you a full time from the Champions League, which was being played tonight. It's not good news as far as the English club's concerned. The new league champions Liverpool have lost 3-0 in Sweden to Linköpings, and they've gone out 4-2 on aggregate. Bristol Academy 0-0 currently in their game against the Irish side Rahini, but they are 4-0 up from the first leg, so a bittersweet moment for Liverpool just 4 days after that dramatic title win on goal difference on Sunday. Their first venture into the Champions League is over. And as the title winners, along with Chelsea, the runners-up, they will of course be in next season's competition, but crashing back down to earth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on such a high from Sunday, but it's very, very difficult. I think that they perform well at home, particularly on that 3G pitch that they've got, Liverpool, but then they go out to Sweden, to Linköping, and they're a good team, and obviously they've been well beaten, but they should be proud of their efforts and what they've achieved in terms of the league title again.
That's a free kick to Arsenal. Leah Williamson, a 17-year-old foul. Made giant strides this season. Long from Stoney again, this time looking for Scott, cut out by Broham. This is Flint. Just overran it, has she? Well, she was penalised in the end, Natasha Flint. Arsenal took it quickly, they've started at a really high tempo, and they have the first corner of the game.
Yeah, Man City really struggling to deal with the tempo that Arsenal are playing at, how high up the pitch that they're playing, the pressure. He's obviously got his girls going before the game.
Only his 4th game in charge, remember. They had already got into the Continental Cup final by the time he was appointed to succeed Shelley Kerr. Here's the corner. Bartley got hands to it the first time and gathered the second. There's the play for the team that have just knocked Liverpool out of the Champions League in Sweden. And America as well. The current England #1.
Yeah, she's a good keeper, Karen Barsley. She's got the athleticism, the height. Quite a criticism of women's football goalkeepers are that they're not really tall enough, but she definitely has that. She's over 6 foot. She's made that England #1 shirt her own over the last couple of years.
Fahy. Just a fraction too hard from Ono. Nicola Harding, the former Liverpool and Everton defender, with the throw for Manchester City, flicked on by Scott, cleared by Fahy. You're looking down the spine of the Manchester City team tonight, Lucy. Bardsley, Hort and Scott Duggan, for the experience to try and guide the rest through, because all these Arsenal players have been there and done it before in cup finals and winning silverware.
Absolutely. You look at Arsenal, and even the younger players have won things, you know, and just this start where it's just been a little bit high for, watch this, high tempo for Man City to deal with. You've got to get the likes of Jill Scott on the ball, you've got to release Tony Duggan down that flank. Just be a little bit concerned about the way his team has started, and not really the way they've started, the way Arsenal have started and how his team have dealt with it. But they haven't conceded yet, and I think that's the main thing, and they want to settle it down over the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Nick Cushing, who has been at Manchester City's academy for 9 years as a coach, but it's his first season of experiencing women's football. What an end it would be if he could upset Arsenal and end it with silverware.
What you've got to do at this level, particularly if you've got some inexperience, you've got to manage the game better, and Man City have not really done that. They haven't taken the heat out of Arsenal in the way that they've started, and you know, by playing little, you know, balls at the back, and you just need to, like I said before, just turn them around. If they're causing pressure at the back, don't be giving it away in positions like that.
That was Williamson looking for Yankee. Flint now for Manchester City. Oh, it's a curious one from her. Got away with it because Carter wasn't able to capitalise. And then Karen Bardsley with a mistake. It's gone straight to Yankee. And Manchester City mightily relieved, and Karen Bardsley in particular, that they weren't punished.
Yeah, the uncertainty sort of creeping through. I mean, that sort of ball is just lethal in terms of conceded, and then you'd expect Karen Bardsley to put her feet through it, tries to take a touch. You know, if the goalkeeper starts doing that, and that's somebody of her experience, is not something you'd expect, but they've escaped again.
And you would have expected Yankee to hit the target,
yeah.
Lucy.
Going on from there, Yankee will be really disappointed with herself. That's a sort of finish she would get a goal from.
Here come Arsenal again with Nobbs. Ono is on the move. Nobbs went square to Carter instead, and then lifts it effortlessly into the path of Yankee, who's unable to bring it under control. But the referee has called the play back because there was no advantage after the foul.
Yeah, I think that was a slide in by Jill Scott, hurdled by Carter. There's no real advantage from there.
Jill Scott, who won this form of trophy, the League Cup, in her days with Everton. She was an FA Cup winner there as well. One of those players with vast amount of experience in the City lineup we were talking about. Yankee and Nobbs behind this. In fact, Yankee has moved away. It is to be Jordan Nobbs. She was going for goal.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty good from that distance. Karen Bardsley's got a long time to have a look at it. It wasn't on target. That said, no denying the confidence of Jordan Nobbs. She does score goals from that position. Did you see there, Steve, that Man City, Nick Cushing had wanted to play out from the back, and Karen Bardsley's just indicated to them that the manager wants her to play long because, like I said before, they're not managing the game very well, and that sort of thing, playing out from the back and being put under pressure and losing the ball, is, you know, that's good play from her.
Kept 4 clean sheets in this competition. Karen Bardsley, 5 wins out of 6 to get to this final for Manchester City, all that after they'd lost the first game to Doncaster Bells in the Continental Cup, which was a group stage format, and then a 4-team semi-final playoff. Manchester City overcoming Chelsea, and of course we know in front of our live cameras that Arsenal needed extra time before the introduction of Kelly Smith to get past Notts County ladies into yet another domestic cup final, and here they come again. And a cross from Mitchell, held by Bardsley.
They like to get the full-backs forward, Arsenal. It's great interplay there with Nobbs. Mitchell just managed to get across, but it's very difficult to beat Karen Bardsley in the air, particularly Ono, who was about a foot smaller.
Emma Mitchell, the Scottish international, who started the final last year, the victory over Lincoln Ladies, and she's ushering that out of play as well. No way through for Christy Johnston. One of those that has been able to step up into the top level of women's football. 6 years she's been at Manchester City, patiently waiting for this kind of opportunity and this night to come along.
I've seen her a few times this season and been impressed by her. She's got a bit of pace. I need to get her, like Tony Duggan, on the ball, beyond and behind the Arsenal fullbacks, who do like to get forward, so vulnerable in behind on the flanks.
She's chasing this one again with Mitchell. Byrne wanting to get involved. Williamson. Good work from Walsh. This is Lippmann. Long from Horton and far too long from the Manchester City skipper.
In terms of the areas to put it in, it's the right idea, just a bit too much on it, really. As you see Johnston and Duggan and Flint just occupying those spaces or running into those spaces behind the full-backs and in front of the centre halves for Arsenal.
That's a Manchester City throw. Scott. Bit back from Christensen. Now Flint. That's too strong for Duggan. Scott. Again, just a heavy touch allowed Arsenal to regain possession. This is Carter. Jordan Nobbs pointing to where she wanted it, almost reached her. Brown to bring it clear for Manchester City. Just a little anxious when they come out at the moment, Manchester City.
Yeah, just need to be a little bit more settled on the ball, and they're giving it away in silly areas, although the last sort of few minutes they've managed to find some sort of rhythm and engaging Arsenal a little bit further up the pitch, but a little bit of uncertainty just running through them at the moment.
Nobbs switching play brilliantly into the path of Yankee. Three in the penalty area here for Arsenal. Yankee's cross blocked by Nicola Harding. No wonder she's giving the thumbs up to that ball from Jordan Nobbs.
Yeah, she just hugs the touchline, Yankee, and that's where she's best, further up the pitch, hugging the touchline and just waiting for a ball like that being played to her, and she does the rest. Just to get a good ball in the box or a shot on goal. She's been doing it all her career.
Another Arsenal throw. Carter. Cleared by Walsh. And won by Fahy. The Irish international, who came back into the Arsenal team earlier in the season for the FA Cup final. Lee Fahy, another one vastly experienced.
I think she's really come on this year as well, Fahy, in terms of the partnership with Casey Stoney has been really, really strong. Casey Stoney just settles that back four. Lee Fahy has definitely benefited from that. Been playing well, the pair of them, this season.
Walsh. Again, it was overhit. You can see Manchester City's intention every time to try and get the pace of Tony Duggan into the game.
Yeah, the ball forward's just been just a bit too much and a little bit rushed, and not really the right decision on 2 or 3 occasions, but at least they're getting hold of it now.
This game is taken very seriously. The chief executive of Arsenal is here to support their ladies team tonight.
Didn't have far to travel, did they, Steve, compared to Man City?
No, it's still good to see the top man at the club, though, isn't it?
That wasn't. I'm just saying that in terms of where it is, it's not particularly in the middle, but like you say,
this venue certainly favours Arsenal.
Yeah,
yes.
It does. But I mean, it's good to see the support. I mean, Arsenal, you know, are renowned to have the support of the men's club. They have done since the very start, really, particularly with Vic Akers involved.
Manchester City certainly have. As Scott crosses this, nice little touch from Flint. Johnston. Yankee back to help out for Arsenal. Now Harding. Fahy. And the burn was caught in two minds there. Didn't play in the last WSL game against Everton. Swan Chamberlain back on the bench for Arsenal tonight, who are now breaking with Leah Williamson. That's asking a lot of Carter. It's an Arsenal throw. Carter. Mitchell continuing her run. It was in towards... Oh no, still might get there. It's an Arsenal corner. Shinobu Ono almost sniffing out an opportunity.
She managed to get herself right in that near post. In the end, it was good defended by Boehm in the end. It's a great little move. Emma Mitchell's got herself forward a couple of times now. She's rebounded off Lippmann. Good play.
World Cup winner with Japan with the cross. Running her international teammate Kinga. Neatly done. Stoney. Blocked by Horton. The former England captain, challenged by the current one. The Arsenal captain Scott with a throw. Stoney's cross. Early decision from Karen Bardsley was a good one. Well, quite an experience for Pedro Martinez Losa, who was the assistant coach at New York Flash before arriving at Arsenal. His fourth game in charge. He had 5 years at Rayo Vallecano in Spain, where he won the Spanish Cup. So he's been in this situation before, and he arrived in England last month. It was actually, if you include Kelly Smith, who took charge for 2 games, Arsenal's 4th manager this season, which is in stark contrast to the history of the club, of the stability and consistency they've been renowned for. That's gone Manchester City's way.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have been, particularly at the beginning of the season, a little bit inconsistent. Kelly Smith, obviously, lots of help to Pedro in terms of knowledge of the players, etc. But he's got good pedigree, and obviously now Arsenal will be looking for them to add a little bit more stability to the club. But, you know, they win cups, even where we say that they're inconsistent, they still win cups.
Here's Ono. Disappointing ball in from her, but Arsenal do get the corner. It was Alex Scott, the right back, the captain, who was the furthest forward for Arsenal there. That's the target that Ono was trying to find.
Definitely got the pace, Arsenal, in these counters. It's just a team filled with pace. And Alex Scott loves to get forward, always has done, from that right back position. Can they make this
pay Arsenal. Yankees delivery. That's good defending from Manchester City. Broham it was, and held in the end by Bardsley.
Yeah, she offers real authority. These corner kicks, Bardsley, because of her height and strength, she plucks the ball out of the air. Good defending though, they've dealt well with these set pieces so far, Man City.
Scott. Lippman. Carter had seen the back pass, but it was calmly dealt with by Bardsley. That's a Manchester City throw. Duggan. He's received very little of the ball so far. Manchester City's top scorer, England international.
Yeah, Manchester City's players being in front of Arsenal. They need a couple of runners from midfield, Christiansen or Jill Scott, just like Nobbs has done for Arsenal. At the moment, it's quite easy for Arsenal back four. Everything's in front of them, and so they can manage it better. Nobody really turned them around or running beyond.
It's given away by Lippman. Long ball again from Stoney. This time trying to search out Ono. Brushed aside by Harding. Let me point in the direction of yet more live football for you on BT Sport. Tomorrow night, north of the border, Aberdeen go to Hamilton. It's on 1 from 7:30. And then the Barclays Premier League on Saturday. What a game for you at the Etihad. Manchester City entertaining Spurs from midday on 1. Reminder, the WSL season review show is on next Tuesday, the 28th, on 1 from 6:30. And also the WTA is up and running in Moscow with the Kremlin Cup quarterfinals. You can see those over on 2 tomorrow, live from 10 o'clock in the morning. All the action, of course, available to watch via the BT Sport app. Good covering from Jill Scott. Flint. Now Carter. Just showed too much of it to Horton. That was a nice touch from Duggan. And then from Scott. And that was an ambitious ball from Tony Duggan. Looking for Christy Johnston. Stoney, back at the club where it all began for her. So goalless after 26.5 minutes. Let's get the thoughts of Kim Little and Ellen White, winners 12 months ago with Arsenal, with Helen.
Kim, it seems like your old side are the ones applying most of the pressure so far.
Yeah, I think Arsenal started the game very well. They had a few pretty early chances, some from mistakes from Man City, and I think the game's settled a little bit now, but I think Man City need to get a little bit higher up the pitch and closer to Tony Duggan to create more chances.
And what do Man City do then? Would you agree? Is that what they need to do to find the back of the net?
Yeah, I think Tony's getting a little bit frustrated. She's coming short and then the balls are going in behind. So yeah, just a little bit more awareness of where the players are, and definitely some balls into Tony Duggan and a bit more support for her up the field.
Well, let's hand back to Steve, because this could be Arsenal with another one of their chances coming from this corner, Steve.
Yes, thanks, Helen. Yankee, the one involved, and Rachel Yankee is going to deliver it. And they have everybody except the aforementioned Tony Duggan back to defend it. Casey Stoney and Nifahi, the two central defenders, are both forward for it. And it's towards Stoney. It's an Arsenal throw. Williamson's touch. By Lippmann. Walsh. Horton. Knobs again, almost able to regain possession for Arsenal. Walsh. Come out by Fahy. That was a good run. There was no foul at the end of it, though. It's Harding, the right back. Run by Horton.
It's actually good movement by Harding. Nice to take a couple on, but I think the referee wasn't for. I think it's because their arms were in the air. Didn't really have that much of a touch. He got inside. Wasn't really any sort of touch there. The referee and his assistant saw that quite clearly.
Now, that's aimed towards Duggan, who's taken it in a stride. Only one player in the penalty area at the moment, Flint arriving as well. Manchester City throw. She got the goal in the semi-final, the all-important one against Chelsea to get here. She's got the winner in a 1-0 victory away at Arsenal in the Women's Super League season. And teammates of several of the Arsenal players. Half chance. Did Emma Byrne prevent the corner? I don't think she did. She thought she had.
I think she thought she just managed to stop it from going across the line. It's good, well worked by Man City here. Just shows you they've not had that many opportunities. I think that bounce, it just bounced out.
Well, can Manchester City use that to their advantage? Johnston to deliver this corner. All bar one back to defend it for Arsenal. Horton, then Scott on the turn.
That was an opportunity. I think Jill's reaction there. Thought they was going to get a volley from Steph Horton there, but just as it fell to Jill, she knew she could have done a lot better with that. Looked like she mishit that, but it looked like it was meant in the end.
Manchester City again. Duggan. Run back by Mitchell. Neatly done by Broham, the 17-year-old at left back. He had a Manchester City debut in this competition in the group stage against Durham Ladies. Harding's header. Manchester City unable to keep the ball again. It's back with Scott, the Arsenal captain.
Man City just need to keep the ball. 2 or 3 passes. As soon as they've done that, you know, they've created something, but they're just giving it away, and there's not really much pressure. Just making it a little bit easy for Arsenal. Arsenal trying to win their 42nd major honour
tonight. Manchester City trying to win their first. Nothing between them as yet. Horton's header. Carter. She was almost thinking about what she was going to do with the ball there before she had it under control. Another Champions League update for you. So Emma Byrne clears that. And remember, Liverpool out, unfortunately, defeating Sweden tonight. For the league winners, Bristol Academy at half-time 0-0 against their Irish counterparts at home, but remember they were comfortably 4-0 up from the first leg. So hopefully there will be one English team progressing in the Champions League tonight, on the night where we have to have a winner in the Continental Cup final. I showed you the Arsenal chief executive, Brian Marwood, Manchester City's football administrator, is in attendance as well. Once of Arsenal, of course, his successful playing career. And he was telling me a little bit earlier on that the new Manchester City training centre, which was open this week, means that all the academy, the women's team and the first team all together, which is a big lift for the Manchester City women.
Absolutely. I mean, you are a friend of the Stars as well, I have to point out. But yeah, it's great. I mean, they see the club as a family club that includes all ages, plus the women's team. It could only be good. You know, I see Man City doing a Chelsea next season in terms of putting more into it, more resources, and more coaching hours, different players perhaps. Being definitely a force to be reckoned with in the league next season.
Well, there's a mistake. It's Carter, saved by Karen Bartlett. Well, Manchester City cannot keep making these errors and surviving, surely. Williamson. Oh no, it's offside. Well, Manchester City had Karen Bartlett to thank there.
That's a great instinctive save by Bartlett. Again, like you say, Steve, another error. And Carter still aware of where the ball is. She gives it a little toe poke. I think it was just the shoulder or the elbow of Bartlett. She just stuck it out. To see their good reactions. A lot of things that the keepers work on. They do work on reaction, stuff like that. Technically very good keeper.
And Carter, 8 goals this season. 3 of them have come in the Continental Cup run to the final. 3 times FA Cup winner. Another survivor from last year's victory in the final. Close to breaking the deadlock in this year's final. Individual mistakes cannot be continued from Manchester City's point of view.
Well, they've managed to get away with it so far, but with the players that Arsenal have got, they're going to capitalise on these mistakes, and he'll be glad that it's 0-0, but he'll be just aware of just misplaced passes, individual errors. It doesn't matter if those individual errors in their final third, but when they're in your defensive third, it's just an opportunity on goal, and we've seen that a couple of times tonight.
Christensen, a former Birmingham and Everton player. Here's Flint. Duggan, with close control from her. Harding. Long from Horton.
A better passage of play from Man City. They get the ball for 6, 7, 8 passes and look threatening.
Manchester City know firsthand how clinical Arsenal can be. They lost 4-0 at home to them in the Women's Super League clash. Arsenal come into this final unbeaten in their last 4 games, 3 of them under the new manager, Pedro Martinez Losa. Manchester City were thankful After back-to-back defeats to beat Chelsea on the last day. Not as thankful as Liverpool were, mind you. Yankee. That was loose from Emma Byrne. Jordan Nobbs recovered the situation. Horton with a challenge on Carter. That's aimed towards Duggan. She's offside. At the moment, she's all too often isolated up there.
Yeah, she is. I think she might have been on first look. She's onside there. I think I was right there. The other one earlier, when he let her stay onside, she looked more offside than that. But it's good positioning.
Lucy Wood is never wrong, by the way. Just in case you're a new viewer tonight.
It's taken you 4 years to finally admit that.
Huge kick from Bardsley. Stoney's header. Scott. Johnston. Scott wasn't going to reach that.
Just a little bit forced. Final ball, final pass from Man City. Rather than into feet, Jill Scott. Just a little bit forced. A good turnout.
Let's have a real push on the family ticket tonight. Nice chance to see domestic women's football until the resumption of the next season, which will be around the March-April time. And Liverpool will begin the defence of their trophy once again. The back-to-back WSL titles.
I think the WSL 2 is still going at the end of the WSL 1.
Did I miss out the words top flight? Apologies.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening to you as usual.
Broham to, well, in fact she's going to leave the free kick to Johnston. Bolton and Lippman on their way forward. In from Johnston. Arsenal free kick, Lippman penalised. Jordan Nobbs has stayed down after that challenge. The England international got a blow there.
This is Karen Barsley said. Another angle. See Dan Carter gambles on the ball, running through to it. Just an instinct. I think it was like a toe poke. Just get a bit of power with that, and instinctive. Just with her arm or shoulder. It's a great save. Granted, it was just to the left of her, but she still had to get something on it.
Jordan Nobbs is from the northeast. Tough cookie. She's okay.
It's awful when you get winded. She just got winded. Awful. Recovered
Take more
well.
than that for Jordan Nobbs to go off, though, Lucy.
No, she won't go off. It just need to get your breath back, find it somewhere.
I was like that coming up the stairs to the commentary position, in fairness.
You said it.
And you agreed with it. Here's Stoney. This tight, cagey first half of this cup final so far. Clear-cut chances few and far between. Fahy. Yankee coming deep to get involved. Here's Carter. Carter. So many Manchester City players back there for Arsenal to try and break down in this kind of situation. Mitchell. Early from Williamson. Oh no. Nobbs is always looking to shoot. But a rebound here to Scott. Last 60 seconds of this first half. Jordan Nobbs with the cross. It's towards Rachel Yankee, who couldn't get the contact under pressure from Nicola Harding. Burn back to Fahy, who was unable to keep that in. Manchester City throw.
And the pace of Duggan there causing problems. Fahy can deal with the ball well. Good back pass.
Rather frustratingly, the flag was up against Jill Scott.
Yeah, she's drifted. Then Jill Scott, they were in a good position there. Man City put Fahy and the goalkeeper Emma Byrne under pressure.
Two managers, very different backgrounds, both wanting to get their hands on the Continental Cup tonight. Just the 1 minute of time to add on at the end of this goalless first half. That was a foul by Johnston on Carter. It was a rather awkward landing for Dan Carter.
Yeah, she was sort of bundled to the floor then by Johnson, and I just think it was the way she landed on her finger. I think it might have been dislocated. Oof, it's a painful one. I don't want to watch that again in slow motion. I'm just going to close my eyes.
Look away now. Nobbs. Ono is onside. Still Ono. Oh, and it's come to Yankee, and the heavy touch. Very unlike her. Let her down.
It's great play by Ono down this right hand side. Just cut inside to the left and just drilled it across. Very unlike Yankee not to shoot first time. I think she was probably caught in two minds because it's not usually a heavy touch that comes from her, but just gave Karen Barsley enough time to get out and smother.
And the Manchester City goalkeeper kept her clean sheet intact. Arsenal are the ones that have had the half chances. They've been unable to convert them. And when we come back, we'll get the thoughts of the former Arsenal Continental Cup winners Ellen White and Kim Little. At the end of this cagey first half in the Continental Cup final, it is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0.
Welcome back. We've got 45 minutes left of the Continental Cup final, but if you want a review of the WSL season, then you can do so on Tuesday the 28th of October at 6:30 on BT Sport 1. We've talked a lot about Arsenal super sub Kelly Smith and why she doesn't start because she's managing injury. If you're Pedro Losa, surely now's the time to put her on, innit?
Oh, she needs 20 minutes to score some goals. No, she came on with 20 minutes against Bristol and scored 3 goals. So yeah, I think they'll come out, assess the second half, and then maybe put her on into the second half.
Man City have come out, first team out, looking happy, looking positive. That attitude we noticed on Sunday paid dividends, didn't it? Because
yeah, I think they'll be coming out now. They're in half-time 0-0, which I think is a good result for them going into half-time. So they'll be coming out wanting to be a bit more positive and to push on the second half, looking for the win.
But so far they've been doing the right things.
Yeah, I think so. Me and Al spoke about it. They're trying to do the right things. They've just maybe lacked a little bit of quality. So I think if they get that bit of quality, then they will create chances.
Well, it's 0-0 here in the Continental Cup final. Meanwhile, Bristol are now 2-0 up as they continue their Champions League campaign. Fingers crossed we're going to see plenty of goals here in the second half. Steve Bauer, Lucy Ward take us through the next 45 minutes.
And of course, if we don't have any goals or it is all square, we will have another 30 minutes as well. We must have a winner at Adams Park tonight. Daniel Carter with some strapping on that hand where she fell awkwardly at the end of the first half. Manchester City in their first ever season, in their first ever cup final, to get us underway in the second half. The only team that can deny Arsenal 4 out of 4 in the Continental Cup. No changes from either side. And as the girls were discussing there, if there isn't an Arsenal goal at some stage in this second period, you can be rest assured that Kelly Smith will enter the fray. Manchester City will know that as well. Straight to Williamson. What might have been Manchester City's message at half-time, Lucy?
I just think they just need to do a bit more going forward. But at the moment, they're frustrating Arsenal, and I think the longer it goes on at 0-0, the more frustrated Arsenal will get. And Man City will gain a bit of confidence from it, but like I said before, they just need those midfield runners going beyond. Because Arsenal have got quite a high line, and so there is space in behind.
Pedro Losa has had his say. Reminder of the teams across the bottom of your screen. Both the Japanese internationals Kinga and Ono starting for Arsenal. Manchester City led by Steph Houghton, who lifted this trophy for Arsenal 12 months ago against Lincoln Ladies, who incidentally were captained by Casey Stoney, who is at the heart of the Arsenal defence tonight. She's already got an FA Cup winners medal on her return to Arsenal in their second spell, looking for the Continental Cup one to add to the collection tonight. Here's Fahy, and all the way back from Harding. Yankee had that opportunity right at the end of the first half. Oh, Byrne. It was a risky pass. It's gone straight to Johnston. Seen a couple of those from both goalkeepers tonight.
Yeah, so far nothing's been made of them by either team, but concentration for a goalkeeper must be difficult. She's very experienced, Emma Byrne.
She's looking incredibly tonight, Lucy, for her 27th medal as the Arsenal goalkeeper.
It's incredible, it's also very greedy.
She might be tested here. Good turn and cross from Jill Scott. Need Fahy in the way. Manchester City corner.
An opportunity now. Got Steph Houghton, Lippman, Jill Scott. All can get on the end of it. Quite tall players. Strong in the air.
Johnston's cross. Well defended by Arsenal. Away from Williamson. Jordan Nobbs will chase this. Carter might try and make something of this. There was a slight hesitation between Messrs Horton and Bardsley before the Manchester City goalkeeper dealt with the situation.
Yeah, and the pace of Carter there just makes something out of a ball you don't think anything's going to be made out of. Bardsley's quick off a line.
Both number 9s tonight. An abundance of pace. Horton's header. Then Lippman. Christensen for Manchester City, quickly closed down by Williamson. Mitchell's throw. Carter. Williamson's crossfield ball. It was a good one towards Yankee. And unable to take it in her stride.
Just playing on the shoulder of the defender, Yankee. Probably would have ended up on a weaker foot. It's a great ball by Williamson. It's inch perfect. You just couldn't get in on the end of it, Yankee. Been interested to see whether she had a shot with a right foot or a left foot there. So left foot being considerably stronger than a right one.
Lippman. Horton looking for some movement. Scott provided it. And then, rather frustratingly, Johnston was in an offside position.
The manager would say that's inexcusable when you can see all the way along the line.
New ground for the players, new ground for the manager as well tonight, Nick Cushing. His first season in women's football. Incredibly, with the backing they had and the players that they bought, he straight away walked into something of a pressure situation in terms of expectancy.
It is, and Man City's a big name in football, whether it's the men's team or the women's team, so a little bit of pressure on them, and I think more so next season, and I think they'll be better prepared next season, but I think quite a few people thought that they would spend the money and do well.
There's Carter. She was trying to roll that back towards Jordan Nobbs. So many Manchester City bodies back there.
The one thing about Man City, they seem to have a really good team spirit. You know, they had like a jokey awards evening last night in the hotel, you know, before the game. You can just sense that real spirit between them.
Any winners? Can't tease us with half a story.
Inside knowledge, I've yet to reveal anything else. Thank you. I just saw it on Instagram.
Here's Harding. I'm sure you'll feature in the BT Sport Team End of Season Women Awards.
I hope it's a good one.
Scott. Duggan drilled that at Johnston, and then Duggan was offside.
He's just trying to get beyond Tony Duggan. Good play by, I think it was Casey Stoney in the end. Good experience, centre half. Just let Duggan drift.
Here's Lippman. Carter again trying to use her pace, and Lippman was understandably concerned. It's an Arsenal throw. Carter. Yankee trying to pick out Ono, well watched by Harding, and second time. Nobbs. She was put under sufficient pressure there by Jill Scott. Out on the full from Karen Bardsley. The one he lost last year's final with Lincoln Ladies to Arsenal, looking to avoid a repeat of that. Christensen. That's a better ball. Into Johnston. Jill Scott is the most furthest forward here. The cross couldn't beat Emma Mitchell.
That's better from Man City. As soon as they get like a passage of play and string a few passes together, but it's just been severely lacking that in the game tonight. Definitely not reached the heights of Sunday's game yet at this time.
Nice touch from Scott. Johnston's cross. Emma Byrne couldn't get there. Duggan was close to doing so. A moment of concern there for the Arsenal goalkeeper.
Clever play by Jill Scott. Sideways pass, not a forward pass, and just Tony Duggan just manages to get herself in some really good positions, but the goalkeeper's equal to it.
The offside flag up again. We mentioned the fact that Brian Marwood was here leading the Manchester City contingent tonight. He actually said a few words to the Manchester City team in the dressing room. And he told me his message was, when Manchester City's men's team beat Stoke in the FA Cup final, it changed the mentality of the whole club. It gave them that platform to go on and win things. And he feels that the Manchester City women have that similar opportunity here tonight if they're able to get a positive result.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Arsenal have been doing it for years. You win a couple of trophies or even one trophy and all of a sudden you have that belief that you can go forward and do that, and people are not going to beat you going to games thinking that you're going to win them. You know, they've been a little bit inconsistent this season, but like he says, it's a good message, a platform to build on. And they just pinched this win tonight.
Scott. Crossing opportunity for Harding. She was trying to roll that in towards Christensen instead.
The tempo's just slowed a little bit. I think Arsenal will be worried about that. They'll be wanting to get the tempo as high as the first 10 minutes of this game, where they were on top but just couldn't get the goal.
Stoney. Casey Stoney once more. Fahy. Arsenal, of course, had to use extra time in the semi-final. Goals from Weir and Smith in extra time to beat Notts County. There's Nobbs looking for the pace of Carter.
Man City have dealing with the forwards of Arsenal a little bit better in the second half. I think there's not really been that many opportunities, or I think we get a breakthrough either way. The game will liven up just a little bit.
Johnston. Drilled better, Jill Scott. Difficult one to bring under control. Nobbs can't keep that in. Plenty of famous faces from Arsenal's magnificent tradition in the crowd tonight. Faye White, the former Arsenal and England captain. She lifted plenty of trophies in her distinguished Arsenal career. Even helped Kelly Smith out earlier in the season. And they were without a manager as well on the coaching side. Very much Arsenal through and through.
They're good people to have around, the people who win things, and they have them in the team already. The likes of Kelly, the likes of Faye White, to help the youngsters coming through who have looked up to these players all the way through their young career so far.
We've had almost an hour of this cup final. And the next shot we're going to show you is no surprise. Kelly Smith, the assistant manager, warming up.
Yeah, it's as if she's just, well, if I have to, I'll come on and do it.
If anyone can change this cup final in a blink of an eye, it is Kelly Smith. Still at 35 years of age, a huge influence on the pitch.
I mean, she ran the FA Cup final, and you know, people talk about her legs and not being able to do 90 minutes and nursing injuries, but you know, she has the capability to come on, spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on the pitch and completely change it. And if she does, that's what Arsenal want. I reckon she's quite happy to do it, but also quite happy to watch her teammates without her. But at the moment, they haven't made the breakthrough.
12 trophies in her 2 spells in her distinguished career. She's won for Arsenal. She's about to come on to try and make it lucky 13. And we saw her in the semi-final come on in extra time and change the game and score and help the 2-0 victory over Notts County to get here. No real surprise that Pedro Losa has waited an hour with no change and has turned to his side, to his assistant, and told her to come on.
Yeah, you need big game players when it's as tight as this. I mean, they've got Kinga and Ono on, both won the World Cup, but not pretty anonymous tonight. So I think he's probably playing his joker in Kelly Smith and hoping she will make that difference.
Manchester City making a change as well. The German Paula Radka, formerly of Malmo in Sweden, is coming on, just her 8th appearance for the club. So both sides altering personnel in an attempt to change this scoreline in the cup final. Here's Scott. Duggan against Stoney. Both were committed. Good work from Tony Duggan. Manchester City throw.
She never stops, Duggan. She's not had that much service throughout this game, but anything she does have, she just puts 100% effort into getting on the end of it, and that pace of hers, sometimes it's a foot race with a defender. There's only one winner.
That's an excellent touch from Christensen, and she's a little unfortunate, Isabel Christensen, at the end of it.
It's just not quite happening moment for either team in the final third, the final pass or shot on goal. Just lacking a little bit of quality.
So here comes the change from each team. Kelly Smith, the far more recognisable figure, coming on for Arsenal. And it is Yukari Kinga, one of the Japanese internationals, the holding midfield player, former World Cup winner, who departs. Just listen to the roar that Kelly Smith gets. She secured her 4th FA Cup win with a goal against Everton in May. And it is Emma Lippmann who is making way for Manchester City to allow Paula Radka to come on. She's played 5 league games, 2 in the Continental Cup. And she's coming on alongside Steph Horton.
I think Lippmann was struggling. There was a clash of heads earlier on with Dan Carter. It's just a straight swap.
But the fact that Kelly Smith's on the pitch now, Lucy,
yeah,
psychologically for those Manchester City players, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they know what she's capable of, and you know, it's quite daunting to play against somebody like her, but you know, they've just got to keep going. And she'll love this because you know, she is a big game player in terms of turning it on in front of a crowd, in front of the TV, and she has that in a locker without a shadow of a doubt.
15 goals she's got for Arsenal in all competitions this season. 19 games. Here she is straight away, being fouled.
Yeah, quite a lot of teams find that's the easiest way to deal with it, just to be a little bit as physical as you can, but even though she's quite slight, she has got that strength. In the end, free kick was given, a bit too rough.
Knobs with the free kick for Arsenal. Came free to Casey Stoney, the offside flag was up anyway. Huge kick from Bardsley. Williamson's touch. Long from Horton. Rowan. Carter. Nice control from Johnston. Manchester City throw. I'm sure their message, Lucy, at this stage, going into the last 25 minutes, would have to be in the cup final. And they certainly are. Hasn't always been pretty, but the most important thing from their game plan is they're right in this.
Yeah, you'd given them, they'd take 65 minutes gone and 0-0 with Arsenal in a cup final, knowing that if you get 0-0 with Arsenal in a cup final at 65 minutes, they will be frustrated. And then as the game goes on, you know, his team can capitalise on that, but they just need to just offer a little bit more going forward. I mean, Tony Duggan does really, really well, but she can't do it all on her own.
You didn't quite get that close, did you, against Arsenal in a cup final?
All right.
Actually, she'd mentioned it once or twice over the years. That's a free kick to Manchester City. Fahy on Scott.
I think they both went for this challenge. That's a sore one there for Jill Scott. And it looks worse when you see it again. Oh, that's two-footed, isn't it? Good job Jill Scott wasn't standing on that.
Reaction probably helped Niamh Fahy there. It's a yellow card, the first of this Continental Cup final to the Irish international.
That in slow motion, if you catch it at the right time, looks like a jump in with 2 feet. You don't tend to find that in women's football, that players try and get other players sent off. It doesn't tend to happen because it's rather a bit embarrassing.
Here's Steph Horton, decent try. Emma Byrne with the save. She didn't like the follow through from Jill Scott.
It's a decent effort. Steph Horton, she had it covered. Emma Byrne. Jill Scott was quite within her rights to challenge it, but I don't think Emma Byrne was happy with the way she did it. Yeah, just a bit of a knee in the head. Really not happy about that. Just left her leg there.
What were you saying in the previous sentence?
I mean, they don't feign injury or they don't try and get people sent off, but there's definitely bits of that going on.
Smith, high foot from her. A reminder, the surprise leaders in Scotland, Hamilton, are in action tomorrow at entertaining Aberdeen. You can see that one live on BT Sport 1 from 7:30. Manchester City Spurs is the offering from the Barclays Premier League at the Etihad from midday on 1 on Saturday. On Tuesday, the WSL season review. You can see all the ups and downs from the dramatic season from 6:30 next Tuesday. A reminder, the resumption of the WTA tennis in Moscow. The Kremlin Cup quarterfinals are live on 2 tomorrow from 10 in the morning. All available as well, of course, to watch via the BT Sport app. That's a Manchester City throw. You just begin to wonder if one goal is going to be enough to win this Continental Cup, Lucy.
Well, it's definitely looking that way. I mean, it's a final that usually are quite tight affairs.
Here's Yankee. A little bit of space now for Carter. Well, she fouled by what she was. Arsenal free kick.
Walsh has done well in centre midfield for Man City. She's got close to Kelly Smith and just nudged Carter out of the way there. And the ball was out of either of their feet.
Karen Parsley organising 3 in the wall. Kelly Smith, not surprisingly, is behind this free kick for Arsenal. Here comes Smith then. No problem with the connection. Clean take from Bardsley.
I was just looking at that as two left footers standing up for that free kick. Not really at the right angle, but she actually made it the right angle and just hitting straight through it, straight at Bardsley, and she dealt with it well. Good technique.
20 minutes of the Continental Cup final remain. There's one stage where Arsenal didn't look as though they were even going to reach the semi-finals. They lost to WSL team Reading. They actually qualified as the best runners-up from their group behind Chelsea. They didn't manage to win their qualifying group, and all that's forgotten now. Here's Carter. Smith. Williamson couldn't get to that. Now Duggan. She needs support from Manchester City's point of view. She didn't have it. She's back on the ball now. Fine. So here we go, into the last 19 minutes. Let's get a word with two of the winners in the Continental Cup and scorers in the finals over the years, Ellen White and Kim Little for Arsenal. There with Helen.
Both sides looking like they've got plenty of fire in their bellies. Which way do you see this going, Kim?
Yeah, I think this second half's been a lot more even than the start of the first half. They brought on Kelly Smith, like we said, at half-time, so, you know, I'm hoping Kelly brings a bit of magic, and she just needs, you know, a second to do that, so hopefully she'll bring that.
Is she being allowed to do what she does best?
No, I think they're putting a good few players around her, Man City. They're trying to press her quite high up the pitch, so I think she just needs that little moment, though, to be honest.
This could be the moment. It is! Manchester City lead. Isabel Christensen with the header, and Arsenal behind. 18 minutes to go. Emma Byrne beaten. Breakthrough is Manchester City's in their first ever cup final.
That's the first real bit of quality ball into the box, and you see Johnson there. It's not offside, and it's a great ball in. It's so pin perfect accurate, and she's the smallest player on the pitch, is it, Christensen? There's not really much Emma Byrne can do about that. It's a great header, but it just comes from the quality of the cross from Johnston. Not marked. Christensen, she just gets in between. I think it was the two centre halves, but what a great finish. She just angles it past Emma Byrne.
It's only her second ever goal for the club. She joined from Birmingham Both of them have now come in the Continental Cup. None bigger than that one, though, in the final. It was the 22-year-old who won the FA Cup in her Birmingham days, and she's put Nick Cushing's team in front with 17 minutes to go.
Man City kept themselves in the game even when they were under pressure in the first half, and like I said before, the longer it's in, the more chance that you might get 0-0. You know, someone makes a mistake. It's been happening all night, but that's a real piece of quality. And attackers just love a ball in like that. I mean, she couldn't really miss, even though she's so small, but she got in between the two centre-halves and great finish. And Arsenal's got to respond.
Has she scored the goal that gives Manchester City their first ever trophy? Well, Pedro Lohse will be hoping not, in just his fourth game in charge of Arsenal. Remember, Arsenal have played in 3 Continental Cup finals before tonight, won all 3. They now know they need to score. A team with 41 trophies in their rich history, trying to deny Manchester City their first in their first ever season. Good challenge from Horton. Radka. Well, the Spanish coach, just his 4th experience of English football tonight, needs to see his team score.
See, Man City will be quite happy now, sit behind the ball, just have everything in front of them. Really need to offer any sort of attacking threat, perhaps the outlet of Duggan. So 1 goal will win this.
That was aimed towards Smith. It was too strong for Smith. He sends a lot, rests on her shoulders.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. You have big game players like Yankee and Nobbs, who just won things before Carter, even at a young age she is at. She's won things with Arsenal. They've got to step to the plate now.
Casey Stoney, who lost last year's final against Arsenal, is the captain of Lincoln Ladies. Behind in this one with Arsenal. Won back by Christensen, the goal scorer. Scott lost that. Williamson for Arsenal. Yankee. Long way out.
A little bit more urgency now from Arsenal. To raise the tempo that they had in the first 15 minutes of the game. Just stop it from being too desperate. They have the players on the pitch to get that goal back and get themselves back in the game. It's just have they the time.
It's a yellow card for Leah Williamson for that challenge. Second name in the referee's book tonight.
I think her eyes were on the ball, but she just barged into the back of Johnston. I don't really think there's much arguing with that. It's nowhere near a red, but got to get a yellow for that.
She joins Niamh Fahy in the referee's book. Crystal Johnston, the player involved, just getting her breath back. Bolton's free kick. Well watched by Alex Scott. Johnston back on, Manchester City restored to 11. Time is of the essence here for Arsenal. And Freda Aisi, the young striker, is the teenager is going to come on. Manny has come through Arsenal's centre of excellence.
Sorry, Steve, she didn't look right happy about it then, did she? She just listened to instructions. And she's got some pace, strength and power, make a difference.
Scott, here's Duggan. Still Tony Duggan. She's done really well. Oh, Duggan's gone for goal. Fantastic individual skill to lead up to that.
Yeah, she hasn't had much service tonight, so she ain't passing there. She has the skill to just open up space in front of it and just get the power on the left-footed shot. You see there, just clever play, just to turn Casey Stoney inside out, and in the end, there wasn't enough backlift there to get any sort of power around Emma Byrne. It's good play, she never stops.
Well, the Champions League and World Cup winner, Shinobu Ono, the Japanese international, departs to allow the teenager Frida Aisi to come on for the last 11 minutes.
I think both Kinga and Ono have been quite disappointing tonight, to say that the pedigree they have, whether the intensity of the game, and I've seen them win the World Cup and they were top draw in a very good Japan team.
Harding's throw. Scott. Nicely weighted pass from the goal scorer Christensen. Another Manchester City corner. Good block by Mitchell. From Johnston's cross.
She's proved already, Johnston, that you get a bit of space and she has the ability to get a quality ball in the box.
Johnston to deliver the corner kick. Oh, Schwarten, who had a heading opportunity. What a play by Yankee.
It's usually one of Steph Horton's real strengths. Set piece heading. Just didn't quite get that one right. I don't know whether it was caught in the floodlights, but way off target.
Here's Scott. She was caught there right on the edge of the penalty area.
She's got into the game as the game's gone along a little bit more. Jill Scott been in real good form for Man City, dragging them through games. She offers something a little bit different in women's football. She's got the stature, she's so athletic and tall, she's difficult to mark. And she can get up and down the pitch as well, works extremely hard.
The captain, Steph Horton, behind this free kick for Manchester City. In at pace, off the crossbar, and the follow-up terrifically blocked by Mitchell. Well, Emma Byrne did enough to keep out her former teammate there.
Tell you what, her header was not that good, but that free kick, that was pure power and accuracy. I think she got something to it, Emma Byrne, but just seemed to go through her hands. What a terrific free kick that was.
Well, that has kept Arsenal in this cup final.
And the pressure's now with Man City. They realise they can win this. They've got the goal, they're just pushing for another one.
Harding. That might make its way to Duggan. Almost brought it out of the air.
Just there, just at fingertips. Oh, she's coming with some pace. And that takes some practice, that. Great save in the end, just nudges it onto the crossbar.
To keep her team in this Continental Cup final. Here's Scott. Christensen, match winner as it stands. Cleared by Williamson.
They seem to be growing in confidence now. Man City and Arsenal need to make sure the passes out of the defence are a little bit more accurate than that. Aimless, and Man City will deal with that for the rest of the time. Next 6.5 minutes or so.
Might not have enough pace on it. It was Johnston's cross. Finally gathered by Byrne. Emma Mitchell's mightily relieved.
And Arsenal just can't seem to get any sort of rhythm at all. It's really not the stuffing out of them the goal. Different angle there. I mean, it's one thing to get the power on it, but the accuracy as well. And incredible save by Emma Byrne.
Scott will chase this. Emma Byrne able to gather. Time ticking away from Arsenal here. The FA Cup winners behind in the Continental Cup final. Kelly Smith looking for Carter.
Steph taking her time there, not going to rush this. They've got themselves in front.
Here's Smith. Now Jordan Nobbs. Gone for goal herself. Just bounced in front of Bardsley.
Yeah, it's always awkward. You get enough power on the shot with a bounce. We've had a couple of them now and dealt very well with them.
Kick's gone straight to her opposite number, Emma Byrne, though.
Her teammates weren't happy with that. Just need to keep it.
Here's Kelly Smith. Oh, a little bit of frustration boiling over there. Kelly Smith takes the throw quickly. Carter. Aisi. Off target in the end.
Just needs to be a bit better and get it on target. Try and cause Basel some problems. A quick free kick. Got the power on it, just not the accuracy.
Scott's flick, trying to find Duggan. Cleared by Stoney. Christensen. Duggan is offside.
It's just mad, Steve, how the momentum flows in games. I mean, in the first 5 minutes we would have thought that Arsenal were going to win this comfortably, and then all of a sudden they're right on the back foot. Man City got themselves in front and not far away from winning a cup final.
It's just been announced that the Continental Player of the Match tonight is the Manchester City captain Steph Houghton, the player who lifted this trophy for Arsenal 12 months ago. Should also mention that via the WSL Facebook page, the fans have voted Arsenal's Leah Williamson the player of the Continental Cup tournament. Aisi was a little too keen here.
Yeah, she's dived in, and the ball has already gone a little late. Didn't really make any connection, but it's a foul. Manchester City will take the time in this free kick. Just trying to run the clock down.
Still looking for that urgency. They can't find it. Duggan. Here's Scott. Good powerful run. Jill Scott still going, being chased by Williamson, who did just enough.
It just shows what I was saying about Jill Scott a few minutes ago about her athleticism. It's very, very difficult to keep up with her. And she got a little bit of a nudge in the area there. The referee would have had a decision to make. He should have gone down, but she was honest with it. The ball just ran away. Great driving run.
Scott. Carter. So many Manchester City bodies back there. Aisi trying to use her pace. She has. Cleared by Horton. A little over a minute of normal time to go. Steph Horton trying to rally those Manchester City troops to keep their clean sheet intact and close this out. A historical moment for them. Walsh. And cleared by Bardsley. Last minute of the 90. Cut out by Brohan. That's good work from Brohan.
They've just grown in confidence, Man City, as this half. He knew if he could keep it 0-0 that his team can score a goal. And now believe as well. That's what he wanted. That's probably what he said at half-time. Just believe you can go on and win it, regardless of the pressure you were under at the start of the game.
Christensen. What a ball. Into the path of Johnston. She's got Harding in support. She's going to the corner. There will be 4 more minutes of added time. 4 minutes separating Manchester City from their very first piece of silverware in the women's game. The team that in August 2012 were officially affiliated to the men's club. The team at the beginning of this season were installed in the WSL. The team that recruited over 12 new faces. And they're almost there, on the verge of their first little piece of history. Duggan will chase that. Burn out of her area. Manages to pick out Yankee. Blocked by Scott. Another terrific challenge from Jill Scott. Calmly done by 17-year-old Kira Walsh.
She had a good game tonight, Walsh. She's dealt well with Kelly Smith, and she's come on as well.
3 teenagers in the team. The offside flag is up against Natasha Flint.
She had the space there. Natasha Flint just run onto the ball.
Arsenal have to gamble now. They have to get players forward. Jordan Nobbs. Here's Alex Scott. Kelly Smith. 5 in the penalty area here for Arsenal. Still Kelly Smith. Terrific work from Karen Bardsley in the Manchester City goal. There was a clash there. Karen Bardsley is down. That's why the referee has stopped play. It was Carter who was challenging her.
Tell you what, that's terrific goalkeeping. Karen Bardsley, she couldn't catch that. Kelly Smith trying to work an opening for herself and put a good ball in. Just got in front, a punch in front of Dan Carter, but both the girls committed to that. You see now, just a challenge there, both of them. I think it was Dan Carter's head in the back of Karen Bardsley.
Both being treated. Carter's back on her feet. Bardsley isn't just yet.
You just got to be careful. A real topic in recent times. This clash of heads all around the head.
Well, he does have Alex Brooks to call upon for these last couple of minutes, who made her full league debut in that dramatic final day victory over Chelsea on Sunday. She's stripped and ready if required.
Yeah, sorry, she was extremely capable replacement, as she proved on Sunday. Came in as a rookie, put in a great performance.
And it's good to see Karen Barsley back on her feet, so the referee presumably is going to drop the ball here. Goodness knows how much time he's going to add on.
It was at least a couple of minutes.
Yankee. Horton's given that straight to Yankee. Was she fouled? No. It's gone Arsenal's way though. Emma Byrne has come forward for this, the goalkeeper. Why not? It's almost last chance saloon here for Arsenal. The Continental Cup holders, 3 wins out of 3 in their finals, need a goal. Every player virtually is inside that penalty area. In from Yankee, just over Byrne. It was Jill Scott who got ahead to it. Kelly Smith will try and get this back in. Horton there first. Manchester City still can't clear this. Back from Yankee. Good block by Johnston. Aisi. One final push from Arsenal. Williamson. Back in from Jordan Nobbs. Headed away again by Steph Horton. Manchester City just want to get hold of the ball. They're unable to do so at the moment. Smith. Crunching challenge with Scott. Then Duggan with the block on Mitchell. Into the 96th minute of this Continental Cup final. Here's Dan Carter for Arsenal. And still, Wolfsbach with it. Carter trying to go all the way through. And cleared by Brower. And is that the last chance? It is! Because Manchester City, in their very first season as the Manchester City women, in their very first cup final, have written their first piece of history with their first piece of silverware. And it's Isabel Christensen who gets the congratulations. Her goal after 73 minutes was the match-winning one. The difference in this tight final. And just look at the celebrations from the club that was only born at the beginning of this year. And they have upset the holders, the 3 times winners out of 3 of the Continental Cup. It is the losing feeling in 2014 for Arsenal. It is Manchester City's Continental Cup.
So that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, they weathered the storm at the beginning of the game. They grew in confidence as the game went on. They took a chance with the one real moment of quality in the game, and then they just laid the bodies on the line to make sure Arsenal didn't get through, and fully well deserved after the 90 minutes.
And Christensen, the unlikely match winner really, Lucy.
Yeah, I mean, she did really well. I mean, she's one of the smallest players on the pitch, but I think the quality of the ball in from Johnston for the goal, and she just got herself on the end of it. And resilient they were, you know, they grew in confidence. They frustrated Arsenal to some extent. Karen Bowser did well to keep Arsenal out, but, you know, in the end, I think they deserve it, Man City.
First defeat for Pedro Losa in charge of Arsenal ladies. So the Manchester City women are the winners. The Manchester City men take centre stage from the Barclays Premier League on Saturday. The champions at home to Tottenham from midday at the Etihad Stadium here on BT Sport 1. Well, what a moment for Manchester City in their first cup final. They are the Continental Cup winners. 12 months ago, Steph Horton lifted this trophy for Arsenal. She's about to do it for Manchester City, and she's with Helen.
Congratulations! Steph, I was about to ask you what this means to you, but I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Everything. I think people wrote us off at the beginning of the season, but we've improved so much as a team, and every squad members took their part. Just overall delighted. You can just tell by the celebrations. Yeah.
What does this say about Manchester City's ambitions then?
I think it says everything. Our first season, a new team, new coaching staff, and we wanted to go and get some silverware, and we've done that.
I'm going to let you join the celebrations because this is your moment. Well done, Steph. Congratulations. We did want to grab a word with Tony Duggan, but they celebrated so ferociously that they temporarily injured her underneath the massive pile-up. So hopefully we'll grab her after the break and get full reaction after Manchester City Women's Continental Cup final victory in their maiden season.